John Cena made this hostage-style apology video to the CCP for having the audacity to refer to Taiwan as a country. Yes, no, that's it. No additional context is needed. That was the entirety of his statement, and he had to walk it back. He had to give a little hostage video saying, "Oh, I am very sorry for this discretion I have caused to the CCP." We'll get into exactly what he had to say, but the fact that he had to bend the knee to China in order to make sure that Fast 9, I can't believe that they're on 9 iterations of this fucking once, racing franchise, now heist franchise, now just ensemble cast and a reason for Vin Diesel to just continue to stay in shape. Whatever the fuck it's become, it's wildly popular in China, okay? Because we got from the last year that cinemas were actually open, it's like, okay, what movies actually do something? What moves the needle over in China, okay? As you can see here, the top 3 positions are all the Chinese-made and owned properties, and you know what? They made a hell of a lot of money. That's terrific. And what was the top in 2019? Well, Avengers Endgame, and we can just take a look. And what did it end up closing out at? It made $614 million. Nothing to really turn your nose up at, but at the same time, it's the highest grossing movie of all time. It keeps flip-flopping between Avatar, which is the biggest disaster I know I've ever seen in my life, but hey, at the same time, it's making a hell of a lot of money. Nothing that you should really turn your nose up at, and like I said, Fast and Furious, even the spin-off in 2019 managed in China to crack $200 million, okay? There's a whole bunch of stuff the Chinese don't like when it comes to their cinema. Like, okay, 2019, I want you to cast your mind back. The last time that you were potentially at a cinema. For me, it's been substantially longer, but it's not about me. It's about you guys and what you guys think and feel when you go to the movies. What do you like to go and see? Now, there was a huge release in 2019. What was that? It was towards the end of the year. Something that should still be, kind of relatively fresh in people's minds. That would be Star Wars Episode 9. And it cracked $1 billion. It did extremely well. Not quite Avengers Endgame well, but it was Disney capitulating, or at least attempting to, there was a lesbian kiss at the end of the film that got axed for Chinese release, but we take a look here. You got, Captain Marvel, Alita Battle Angel, Spider-Man, live action Lion King, you should be shot if you went and seen that, Dark Phoenix, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's kind of missing. It did fuck all. That's because Star Wars just bombs tremendously in China. And it's not going to stop Lucasfilm from trying to capitulate to the whims and wonders of the CCP. This entire New York Times article just goes ahead and tells you, oh, well, you know what? Messages from the West were getting suppressed during the 70s and 80s during a certain dictator's genocidal rule, and Star Wars just doesn't resonate if you don't grow up with it as a child. And it's like, well, I've seen all the films, and I didn't do that until I was, in my early 20s. I think they're fine films. I don't quite understand, but I can also see why it's the biggest money-making franchise, at least in the Western Hemisphere of all time. I can understand it. I get it, okay? But to try to just explain this away, like it says here, one after another, Star Wars movies have flopped in China. Not just a little, but pretty tremendously. Defying efforts to bring one of the most successful franchises in history into a market that has printed money for the heroes, monsters, and robots of other films. The latest Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker, has followed the trend by grossing nearly $1 billion worldwide. It eventually eclipsed that, and barely breaking $20 million in China. Fucking oof. We've seen those numbers, what it raked in China for Endgame. Something that should be, on equal footing. It's the end of an entire trilogy for the Rise of Skywalker. Think of it what you will, okay? Force Awakens made over $2 billion, the first one in this trilogy. $1 billion for The Last Jedi. And then $1 billion worldwide for Rise of Skywalker. And as you can see here, The Force Awakens almost to $250 million in the United States in 2015. 2 years later, The Last Jedi made nearly as much. The Rise of Skywalker raked in $177 million in the first few days. In China, the movies opened to $52 million for The Force Awakens, $28 million for The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker with $12 million on their opening fucking weekend. Bending the knee to China doesn't amount to a hell of a lot. I'm sure Canada probably chipped in more money than that. And, you know, the only thing that we'd ask for is if you're going to be attempting to save the entire human race, that you just refer to it as trying to save people kind. Suck a dick. And also, for their other efforts as well, you could have all the best intentions of the world, you know. Mulan, it came out just as I was being initially done with animated films. I think 98 was the original. It's beloved around the entire world. It was about the tail end, or probably one of the last films in the Disney animation renaissance that really resonated with anybody. And then they did this live action replay, and as you could see, it's not like live action adaptations of formerly great and formerly prestigious Disney properties don't make a whole hell of a lot of money. You got The Lion King right here, and you know what? That fucking made $116.5 million, okay? And then what happened with Mulan, which is about a Chinese girl? It's an old Chinese story, and it did fuck all. Because, once again, it was even worse, and we'll go back to what John Cena had to say, but this is just giving a little bit of preamble that, you know what? Trying to capitulate to China rarely ever works out. If you just put out great products, imagine this, just go and figure. Why you would have different countries around the world wanting your properties, it's because they're good without having to make these concessions in order to be more inclusive, okay? They like the idea of the Western cinema. They love the idea of the gun-toting, muscle-bound action hero. They love the idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator, not Arnold Schwarzenegger in whatever decrepit form that he was in fucking Dark Fate and Genesis. Okay? Not handing it off to a new generation of people. No, they want testosterone-fueled, high-action glitz and glamour of the Western cinema. Not some panderous remake with this fucking Mulan disaster, where at the end, during the credits, during the 10-minute long credit roll for the modern-day Disney output, they were thanking their kind hosts in the Zhejiang province, okay? Now, why would you know the name Zhejiang? No, it sounds a lot like a cousin of the Grand Emperor of the Chinese Communist Party, but it is the province in which the Uyghur Muslims are rounded up and put in concentration camps. And at the end of the film, during the credit roll, Disney had the audacity to thank the Zhejiang province for their hospitality. And then, after they did that, after that was released, after that was leaked, China bars media coverage of Disney's Mulan after Zhejiang backlash, and then it did absolutely fucking zero. So what? As we could see in the box office numbers, last time that a Fast and Furious movie was out there, 2019, at the end of the year, even a spin-off did tremendous numbers. So that's why Cena, and if you guys have any kind of a history with professional wrestling while he was there at that time, you knew that he would do anything, okay? He was the ultimate yes man. That was always the stigma regarding him, okay? So when I heard that, yeah, he ended up bowing to China, I just figured, oh, okay, that took a little bit longer than expected because he's been trying to be the second coming of The Rock, which he was when he was trying to be a professional wrestler, if you don't want to make the comparisons to trying to be the second coming of Hulk Hogan, which is more his acting speed anyways. The reason you don't hear The Rock making concessions like this, no, he'll make stupid concessions like endorsing President Biden because Hollywood needed a big bailout anyways, and then that would have been coming from his stimulus package as opposed to Trump's. Another story for another day, of course, but the writing was on the wall with that one. But no. John Cena, when WWE went touring, and they had their first show in mainland China, John Cena learned Mandarin, okay? He debuted a brand new finishing maneuver over there. He made sure that he appeared on that house show because, god damn it, that dude will do anything for a fucking dollar, okay? Ultimate yes man. This made absolute sense to me as soon as I heard it. And let's get into this. John Cena, star of the newest Fast and Furious movie, published a video apologizing in Chinese hours after. It was even in Chinese too. I only seen the stills from it and I just knew exactly what he was doing. You could just tell by his body language. He was just kind of looking down, looking up, just looking all disheveled. He's like, oh my fucking god, it just about cost the fucking publishing company about $1 billion if I would have done something like this. And even if I was going to lose my acting gig, I'd have to go back to the WWE, and they own, and NBC owns quite a bit of stake with Chinese television, and oh my god, I'd be up shit's creek if I didn't post this soulless apology video hours after, well, Anyways, this was all about hours after Chinese state-run media criticized him for calling Taiwan a country. I'm really, really sorry. You must understand that I love and respect China and Chinese people. By referring to a country as another country, that somehow disrespects Chinese people who just want to be free in and of themselves. They want to have the ability to put up a picture of, I don't know, like Jesus Christ without having their doors kicked in, and then having that picture replaced by one of Mao or Xi. Your choice, really. Cena said in Mandarin, in a video posted on Chinese social media platform Weibo. Cool. Probably did an apology TikTok after this as well. He said after being criticized, he was asked by many people to say sorry, the Chinese people using Mandarin, because I made a mistake in one interview. I wonder who those people were, but I could pretty much guess that they're all on the payroll of Universal anyways. Taiwan is the first country in the world that will screen Fast and Furious 9, Cena said on May 8th when he was interviewed by Taiwanese TVBS. What's wrong? What's wrong with that? That's what you'd say. You wouldn't say, Taiwan would be the first occupied land that will screen Fast and Furious 9. That's just not natural to say. Nor is it accurate, nor should you be forced to say something stupid like that. On May 24th, the Chinese state-run tabloid Global Times posted a screenshot of the interview on Weibo and asserted that the self-ruled Taiwan is a province of China. It's really not, though. Taiwan is a de facto independent country with its own military, democratically elected government, and constitution, but the Chinese regime claims the island as its own and has threatened to unify it by force in recent years, also utilizing psychological warfare tactics, like seen being implemented on the likes of John Cena. And more examples of the Chinese tactics as implemented on Taiwan, just see what happened with Hong Kong as well. Remember what happened when anybody would come out saying a free Hong Kong? You had Daryl Morey having to bend the knee, and then you had LeBron James's the CCP's attack dog come out and say that he needs to be more conscious of the effort. And then you had the esports kid hold up a banner that said free Hong Kong as well. And then Activision Blizzard stripped him of his title and his prize money as well for having the audacity of saying, hey, you know what, that place that's wants to be democratically controlled, we shouldn't be advocating for the invasion and takeover by the evil CCP. I don't know, I'm just saying, but you know what, that's why I guess I'm not in charge of any of these big publishing companies. China threats to invade Taiwan greatly undermine security across the Indo-Pacific region, Ken Buck told the Epoch Times in a reaction to Cena's apology. Americans should recognize Taiwan's autonomy instead of bowing to a country that has blatant disregard for international law and order. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't think I could possibly see. I'm sure there's probably an argument out there that would hold water, but yeah, I can't really see China's side in this one other than we want land, you want land, we take land. But here's the full statement. I must say now that I did a lot of interviews for Fast 9, I'm very, very sorry for my mistake. I must now say it's very, 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 very important that I love and respect China and Chinese people. Well, John, I very, 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 very much do not respect you for doing that. I would love to see him, okay? If he wants to continue being an actor, I don't think he is much of one, but there is a perfect slot for him. Something that would probably appeal to the Chinese market, wherever all of these publishing companies, all of these movie houses want to break into. He could be the perfect 80s action film star, okay? He's not much of an actor, but he has a great look. And if you guys remember in the early 2000s, that first Marine movie that was out there, the first 12 Rounds movie that was out there, they were stupid. They had a retarded plot line, but they were a hell of a lot of fun to watch, okay? And that's what theaters are empty and burnt down in some cities. And that's what the movie-going public are desperately looking for, okay? That's why comic book movies, the ones that are good, people flock to them because they just want to see big dumb action pieces. And you know what? I'm guilty of it as well. That's why I still love old movies like T2, Predator. Not to say that they're stupid, but I love me a shoot 'em up. I love me an action film with a bare bones plot line. I love to watch any of the Rambo films. You put them on, just Sly Stallone muttering for a minute before he's sticking a knife in somebody's chest or mowing somebody down or turning them into grape jelly in front of your eyes. John Cena could definitely do this, okay? But no, he just wants to hop on a franchise bandwagon, just like he tried to do with Transformers with Bumblebee. I don't forget things. Now he's already hopping on a moving bullet train straight for the fucking concentration camps, and You hate to see it. It's not unexpected. This is the first apology of many to be coming, because if they start digging through some of those old wrestling promos, oh boy, he's going to be making quite a few Weibo apology videos. And whatever. It's the fucking state of modern media. What do you want from me? I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.